No task was too big, too small, or too insignificant for our Angelina Award recipient. Rolling up his sleeves, digging in, and pushing forward for the improvement of not just Lufkin, but all of Angelina County have been his signature moves. And while our recipient has recently slowed down his active involvement, he continues to be a sounding board, as well as give insight and advice to help grow our community. Our recipient has always chosen to see the bright side, work toward better days, and has done whatever he could to ensure those days are ahead.
The ultimate public servant. I think that's what Bob's done all his life. And I know that when Bob showed up here, Bob made this his home. I was living on the west side of Lufkin and was without power for about 24 hours. And Bob come driving up and he rolled down his window and he says, "Is your power back on?" He was concerned about my power being on. And so I look at it then, he was a public servant from the day he got here.
And he maintained that attitude as he retired from his day job and took on a role that would put him in a leadership position during one of our county's worst economic downturns. And yet, it did not dissuade our recipient from bringing his A game every day to his new job.
The best days are always ahead, not only just for him, but for you and for our community. Bob is convinced that the best is yet to come.
While our recipient was not born in Lufkin, no one would know it. He made this community his family's home when he moved here in the 1970s to take the reins of the local office of the electric company.
Bob looks at Angelina County as his people, but within that, everybody here is an individual to him. You know, Bob came from a small town in central Texas called Brady. It's the heart of Texas. And I think Bob took his heart from his hometown of Brady, and when he moved to Lufkin, I think first time like in 1977, he was devoted to us. You know, first he worked for TU Electric, and I remember when I first moved here in 1988, someone came up to me and said, "Hey, if you got a problem with your electricity, call Bob Brown. Here's his telephone number, 632-9871. We had that telephone number stuck to our refrigerator until about 2004, I think, or 2001, when we moved, and by that time I'd memorized the number. I don't even think I ever had to call Bob, but I knew he was always there.
He brought a vision and a servant's heart to a community that grew with him and because of him. Besides a dedication to his job, he brought enthusiasm and commitment to his church, First Christian, to the Angelina County Chamber of Commerce, to many nonprofits, including Angelina County United Way, Memorial Health System Specialty Hospital, Economic Development Partnership of Lufkin, the 4B Board, Lufkin Convention and Visitors Bureau, Ernest L. Kurth Charitable Foundation Advisory Board, the Round Table, and Hospice in the Pines.
Bob talks big picture, but Bob also participates. He's been a member of the Stubblefield Learning Center from day one. He's president of our board now. When we had the host program over at Brandon, Bob took time out of his day to go read to a third grader.
He also brought his unique brand of care, kindness, and steadfast leadership that continues today to inspire so many. Much of his wisdom, insights, and guidance to those who became some of his closest friends has been passed along over a morning cup of coffee. He fit right into the Round Table, a group of men who also have made it their mission to do great things for our community.
He would uplift me with a handwritten note. I love the way he did it. He always blessed me at the end.
After 40 years working for TP&L, TU Electric, TXU, and then Encore Electric, he retired from his day job as manager of the local Encore office and made plans to continue to live in Lufkin. However, he did not retire to a quiet, easy, restful life. Instead, he took on a high-profile volunteer role in our community that put him in the position of making decisions that could and would change the course of our city. He became our mayor. And he did so at a time when our city was taking gut punches from not just the downsizing of some businesses, but the closing of others. Businesses that up until then were the lifeblood of the county. Did he step back and say the task was too hard? No. Did he step aside and find someone else to tackle the big problems? No.
With Bob Brown's guidance through the hard times, the Lufkin Industries, the other businesses leaving Lufkin, he guided us through some hard times. He's like the guy that's always going to lead, and there's nothing that will deter him to get where he wants to be.
He took his 40 years of running a business and ran toward the problems, tackling them one at a time, assuring the community throughout that if we stay positive and work hard, all would not only work out, but would be better. His leadership and can-do attitude helped bring new economic opportunities, including the Foreign Trade Zone designation and many other businesses to Lufkin and Angelina County. In his 9 years in the mayor's seat, our recipient brought about change and an air of confidence and calm to the city. His steady, strong, and family-oriented ways put the city on a path of growth.
One thing that I learned from Bob was to be true and not sugarcoat things. Don't tell people what they want to hear, tell them the facts.
While the city and its people have always been a driving force in our recipient's life, his family always comes first.
Bob was the ultimate family man. His family meant everything to him. And he had been through some trials and tribulations with his family. But he weathered those storms. It was hard on him, and it's still hard on him to this day. I think he's overall a great man, and he always will be.
I don't know about the city, but I know my life would not be as enriched as it is. I've leaned on Bob when I needed somebody. I think a lot of people have leaned on Bob when they need something, and he's always been very supportive. So I guess from a personal point of view, he's always been there for me. But just like back in his TU Electric days, I think he's always been there for everybody. He doesn't matter who you are.